Hey there, friends. We are loading into Bolo Bolo on this fine evening. At least it's an evening for me. So, a lot has happened with Bolo Bolo. You'll find out when we load in. But we have come at the end of a very, very long journey. Back in the end of March, I accidentally deleted a rather large section of my zoo by saving over it and having no adequate backup for it. In the time since that moment, I have built an entirely different zoo. I've also welcomed a son to my family, and that son is now 4 months old. And finally now, at long last, I've managed to overcome the psychological hurdle that was rebuilding the parts of Bolo Bolo that were lost. When, not if, but when we finally rebuild Bolo Bolo, I will make a video showcasing, the footage that was lost. I feel like I recorded all that footage. I will not let it go to waste. I will actually make a video out of it, and then I will showcase the new build for, all of those people who didn't see these streams. I will showcase all of the new stuff, but perhaps I don't know who's watching this. But here's a bit of a surprise build for you, kind of a sleeper build, so to speak. And that is this particular place. I think it goes without explanation what you are looking at right now. Yes, I finally did something that I have not done ever in Planet Zoo, and that is built for the African primates. And here we have a primate island constructed. And I have to say, it was a really fun experience building for the bonobo, an animal that's been in the game since the very beginning, since launch. It could use a remaster, it's safe to say, but I built this island for them here at the edge of the Shadow Trail. Very lush, very topical, with some climbing frames, as you can see. Inspired by blueprints, but made by me. And I have to say, I really, really like the look of this, and I feel like it took me a while to finally get working on a great ape habitat. And I feel like it's a good one. The interior of this dome is absolutely not finished. This whole wall is going to go away. I won't tell you what for. And you do get a view here of the indoor habitat of the bonobo. But thankfully, in contrast to the other apes that I've had in Planet Zoo, they actually spent their time outdoors, for which I'm very thankful. And in fact, this guy has been chilling on that rope for quite some time. And this is going to be a video very soon, because the build is pretty much finished. So I'm going to reveal that in a video. At the other end, you see I have another island ready here, and I have some room reserved here, but that will be revealed in the future. I almost went the route of building the lion habitat. I had some plans, I started building it, but I'm still not feeling it, and I feel like the lion habitat will be the very last thing I do in this zoo. This lake is big for a reason. That's because I'm planning a special something with this section. But you haven't seen this, except for some screenshots I shared, but the palaces and the rhino habitats they look done. They're not. Hey there, Lisa and Blob, welcome. I hope you're having a great day, a great evening. And yeah, what you're looking at right now is the White Palace, the Black Palace, the White Rhino habitat, and the Black Rhino habitat. You don't know this specifically, but I rebuilt this based on the recorded footage I had of these habitats. And the habitats themselves are near identical. The palaces are, for I'd say 80%, the facades of them, at least the front, is very much identical. But I've made both palaces just a bit bigger, just a bit larger than they were originally. Especially the Black Palace has, received a considerable makeover. But the back, I didn't pay much heed to this, and the Black Palace has no back at all. So that's something we're going to throw together today. Also, guys, hey there Hunter, hey there Blob, hey there Lisa once again. I advise you, should you ever visit this zoo, perhaps when I finally drop this chaotic mess into the... Ooh, that's ugly. Into the workshop, don't enter the palaces. Just a hint, there's nothing there. They are... they don't have interiors. I was not in the mood. I finally got to the point of having rebuilt this. I did not want to build interiors. So in case you missed the whole rebuilding fiasco, it was this habitat, this one, this one, this one, this one, this, and this. That's all stuff that I spent. Yes, Hunter, that is indeed the one I deleted on accident. And it took me a lot of time to... It didn't take me a lot of time to rebuild, but somehow the procrastination went hard on this one. But yeah, it is... Also, guys, don't look at any interior of any habitat in my zoo ever. Bolo Bolo has taken some extreme measures to keep the frame rate somewhat decent, and one of those shortcuts has been no backstage areas at all. But anyway, guys, what I was planning is very simple, and that is just to make sure the edges of this safari are properly cleaned up. We're going to make sure that this mountain gets some more rocks and plants, and we're going to sort of decorate the back of the palace. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing crazy going to happen today, but I thought perhaps I could take you along for the ride with some chill tunes and perhaps some chill vibes. So there's really is nothing spectacular about to happen, and if that is your expectation, then perhaps you can watch a cool action movie while you watch this dumb little stream. But yeah, I'm very happy to be able to reveal the bonobo habitat soon, and the rest of the great ape habitats will follow very swiftly, I'm going to say. Because I thought I absolutely hated the great apes, and I just didn't want to build for them, but now, having seen them in the game and seeing them in my habitat, I'm like, oh yeah, they're really cool, and I am really, really eager to build more of them. Yes, it is evening here in Belgium. In case you missed it, Hunter and or Blob, we built a bonobo island here with an indoor habitat as well, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The climbing frame is made by me. They seem to like it, as you can see. So yeah, I just love the lushness of this, and I'm really pleased with this. And the chimpanzee is going to live across from it, and the gorilla will have this whole... This is going to look quite different in the end. I'm trying to go for like a Bronx Zoo 360 view here, but that's a ways away. You're playing Planet Zoo while you watch. That is fantastic. And Hunter, thank you so much. you'll see the reveal of that very soon. In fact, probably before I finish the palaces video. So yeah, obviously, when you're walking here, the terrain is going to look like this, and the safari will be bordered by these bushes and you can't look past it. Whether or not I actually do much more with the desert here, that will be one of my final acts in Bolo Bolo. My main concern right now is the way it looks from the walking tour. This section, by the way, might receive a very surprising build by a very surprising person. Anyway, so far so good. I'm liking the bushes. I might add some more trees in there. Of course, when you get up here, the sightline demands from us that we clean this up as well. Working on a meerkat enclosure. Awesome. You can do so much creative little funky things with meerkats. I love it. Great Ape Island. Awesome. That makes two of us then. Actually, guys, I think also in the very near future, I want to do a thumbnail for this that really catches the eye. But I want to do something that does justice to this build. But I feel like there's so many options that I'm a bit overwhelmed by it. So I might actually require your help to do this. Anyway, let's start on this mountain. We're not going to go crazy because you don't actually get to see this part of the build very much. We're just going to take these rocks here. The idea for the White Palace is that the plants, you know, sort of connected to it are bright yellowish, pinkish, and the Black Palace got more rugged greenish plants and these awesome columns that I you know, really pleased with how those look actually. So the white rocks are absolutely, deliberately, you know, like very striking and unrealistic. This part of Bolo Bolo completely abandons any sense of realism really and just absolutely goes for, you know, sort of a fantasy feel. Theme park sort of environment, I would say. Honestly, the back here really doesn't need all this attention. You're not going to see any of this, but I'm gonna do the very, very bare minimum here. Also, in case you didn't see it, I toured a zoo on the channel by the wonderful inspirational ZSH Plays, one of my very favorite creators and builders in all of the game and all of YouTube. And yeah, it's an hour and a half. It's a pretty involved tour, I would say. But if you're in the mood for Jelbu visiting a zoo and acting like he's in a real zoo for an hour and a half, I recommend seeing the video. I'm slowly but surely getting back into the groove of trying to post Planet Zoo videos weekly, which does demand from me kind of late night gaming sessions, but at the moment it's working for me. So small and they don't need much. Had some leftover space. Yeah, you didn't want to make a climbing animal because you made a bintang enclosure. Yeah, it's always fun to have like those little gaps in zoos and you find the perfect animal to fit in there. And like meerkats are always such a wonderful addition to those small little spaces. And sure, I'd love to join yet another Discord for Planet Zoo. You can absolutely send me a link. I think you can find me on Discord, right? But I absolutely wouldn't mind. I've been on my Planet Zoo grind these last few months, even though the channel has sort of suffered, you know, understandably, with the whole having a child and all. The views are slowly trending upwards, but yeah, it's taken a considerable hit. I was expecting that, of course, but I think with these next coming weeks you will see episodes about the dueling palaces. I'm still not quite sure how I will showcase this in a video, because here's the deal. I recorded building the old palaces, the previous versions. I didn't record the rebuild. And I kind of want to tell the story in the beginning of, you know, removing it all, then show you the old build, and then at the end sort of reveal the new build, and then you will instantly see the similarities and the differences. That's sort of the idea at the moment. If that seems like a good idea to you, I was also, one part of me was thinking of doing more like sort of a fairy tale about the origin of these palaces while the footage plays, like sort of like yeah, kind of like a Disney-esque fairy tale about why these palaces exist, why they are dueling, what is the significance of the rhinos. I was going to try and come up with a story there, and then the footage would play, but I was, you know, I'm not sure if that would actually draw in the crowds, so to speak. So at the moment I'm just thinking, telling the upfront, being upfront and honest about having removed it all. And if one day I do upload Bolo Bolo to the workshop, I will, in the most sincere tone, warn everyone to never ever visit any backstage area in this zoo. Because, you know, this, I'm going to improve this just a little bit, but it's not going to be much better than this. I promise you guys, in my next project, I will legitimately have backstage. Okay, I should turn this one off. In my next build, I am legitimately going to have, you know, well thought out backstage areas for my animals, because I am hopefully going to be able to contain myself and build a smaller zoo. Perhaps a bit more grounded in realism is the general idea. Let's turn to our great friend Arrowwood. Actually, there's some foliage I want to steal from this section, I believe. I think this has some good sections of foliage I could steal and bring back here. Although it's kind of angled incorrectly for what we have to do here, or it's just very weird in general. I'm hearing a lot of noise outside my window at the moment. hope no one's trying to break in. He said calmly. I'm going to remove my headphones for just a bit, just to listen better. This has turned into a horror stream now, but might be someone having issues with their car or something. I think that's the kind of situation I'm hearing outside. Anyway, let's take some acacia trees. And then sort of try to dissuade guests from actually looking at the desert beyond. Like, you know, they're probably not going to spend much time looking at this direction anyway, but I want to sort of build a blockade like, hey, don't look over here, there's nothing to see here. Oh man, I still need to hide all of this. I know it's not really that important in a crazy build like this, but much of this is going to be when I eventually do finish Bolo Bolo completely. Then all of this will need to be, you know, covered with some rocks or some more interesting terrain, and my little smorgasbord over there can be hidden. But let's just grab this thankful collection of bushes once again. Thankful is not the word. I think I'm looking for another word here. Also, I'm just going to ensure that this section of the path I'm going to color these. All right, I know I have something still to build. Actually, you'll see in a bit. I still have something to build. The gates. They had gates, these palaces, and I mean the paths to the palaces had like these gates you had to walk through. It's kind of significant because I'm not saying they had like a unique concept, but they had just like a neat little element to them that I definitely want to see kept intact. You know, make sure there are some kind of supports visible here. Alright, so just let's see what this looks like now. Oh, right. Let me actually hop in Discord quickly. There, I accepted your request and I've given you a little wave. So, by the way, Blob, I don't know if you're still here, but I'll still address Blob like he's here. Playing the game with these Ansel filters on, making it look sharper and everything really is really nice. Alright, so you head down here, you bump your head into this. Let's actually do it like this. We leave the tunnel now. You get a beautiful glimpse here at the palaces. We'll have to hide this. You know, you're not going to spend much time looking at this side of the build, right? I think everyone who is walking here is going to look there. But this section does need some brushing up, right? This part of the palace needs to be completed, the back of it. But I'm going to do a little something else first. Because as you're nearing the... As you can see, there is sort of a split here between the black and the white zone. And I had these gates, and I think I can actually make them double this time around. And they were double gates. And the meaning of this is, you'll see in a bit, when you are over here, you're on the, the dark side, so to speak. So this side of the gate is going to look black. And if you're over here, it's going to look white. So let us make sure that is actually the case. This is black plaster, and we'll start adding the no random rotation, please. And we'll just start grabbing all the appropriate decorations that we can pretty much grab it from here. Double this up. But there was more. Let's actually sort by the Africa pack, and I need that one little this bracket. We're going to color it like this so it looks silver-ish. Put it in this corner like it was sort of meant to be. In fact, it's kind of implied that you put it here. Perhaps I'm overthinking it a bit, but copy it over, put it here. It's not perfectly aligned, but we move this over here as well. To move that here already, although these gates are of course the wide ones. This and this needs to be white with just a hint of black, and I think it's this and this I need to grab and then turn. Not this one white, but I think it's this one. Nope. Perhaps it's the first one. No. It's the last one. Yeah, well, let's do it like this. I also should be able to grab this. I think I sunk those too far down. I'll just have to grab these. put them here and color these back to their golden coloration. It doesn't look as nice, to be honest, but it's just the established color scheme here. Yeah, so I'm playing, if you have I believe if you have an NVIDIA game card, GPU, then you automatically get access to this software where it has like photo mode and in photo mode, or just in general you can have filters applied to your gameplay. And I'm just playing with one filter on, the sharpen filter, so you can drag it into a very extreme setting and you can sort of make it look more crisp. To it's nice to a point. You can absolutely go too far with it, but also you can take very high quality photo mode pictures of the game that look way better than the sort of in-game camera, to be honest. All right, let's take this. And why is this so hard? This, and then at the other end grab these darker lamps. It's not much more to it, to be honest. Let me just grab all of this, add it to a group, and then we're going to place it here as well. In this particular space, the gate needs to be white, of course, because you're entering the White Palace zone. And it just will look like this when you leave. And in this part, the path is too short, actually. I need to change this. What is the width of this path? Is it actually a 10 meters path? Or is it smaller? It's more like 8 meters. Oh no, I just opened myself to a world of trouble, didn't I? Okay. It is an 8-meter path, but yeah, now we have to connect it still to this path. I hope. Did I just achieve the exact same result? I'm not sure. Let's see. It's not quite. Actually, yeah, I think we can pull it off. There we go. It's not perfect. Oh, explore mode. Did not agree with that. What is this? Down you go. Whatever you're doing here, I need you gone. Alright. Alright, posture check for anyone watching. I was not sitting in a good, healthy position. Perhaps you weren't as well. Alright, Hunter. Good night. See you very soon. Alright. Let's do a quick little save. As you can see, I now have 2 saves for Bolo Bolo. I don't want to make the same mistake ever again. Then the cliff edge here, we're just going to use the rock columns we've been using, mixed with those volcanic rocks here. And again, this part of the build is absolutely not the focus of you know, our endeavors. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I've spent more than enough time on the front-facing part of this. And just like I'm saying with the what am I saying, with the backstage, the non-existent backstage of the palace, we're also not going to put too much time into the parts of this that no one is ever going to see, guests or otherwise. There will be some decoration present, but it's more like, you know, for the sake of my own sanity, knowing that there is something back there behind the scenes. Let's grab this stack of rocks, duplicate it, and keep working with it. Just making sure there is something going on here. Now, I like this stack. I'm just going to sort of keep using it here to sort of announce the arrival of the palaces. I'm going to put it in the foliage here. And in the background here. All right. Yeah, this section, I don't know if you're seeing it, but the White Palace looks very close to the original from the front. The back is a different beast altogether, and the Black Palace is very different. This is new. This is definitely new. I made this crazy dome taller than before because the Black Palace was smaller than the white one, and I feel like it was a bit too, what's the word, regimented, whereas the White Palace does have this more like chaotic free-form fantasy feel. And I don't want to necessarily imply that like the Black Palace is evil and strict and then part of some evil empire or something. Just like, you know, black rhinos might have a bit of a reputation as being more temperamental than the white rhinoceros. Truth is, they are both wonderful animals, and they both deserve our attention and our efforts to conserve them and keep their well-being a hot issue. All right, let's continue spamming the manzanita bush as we have been doing in this zoo. Probably the most used plant at this point after buffalo grass is this manzanita bush. Just like the color and the texture. Raise your hand if you're one of those people who has never used plant zoo bushes as intended, meaning not sinking them into the ground. Like if you have a manzanita bush like this, have you ever planted it with its trunk, or like the blackthorn bush? I don't think I've ever used it in its tree form. I've always been sinking it into the ground. The poor little piece. Alright, so what's up next? I did actually forget to do something here, and that is to add a little bit of a edge here to the antelope habitat. There. Alright. I'm going to still leave this open, as I said, because there might be a habitat coming up. Although it's a rather big space for what I'm planning to do. But still, it's clearly a space reserved for one of the very few African animals, both on the Nexus and in the game that is left. Anyway, it's time to start decorating the... Oh, the game is bugging out just a little bit. I think I fixed it. Alright. We still need to decorate this side. The side and the back. Let's grab some bushes here. What are we going to use? Why not use some good old silver ferns here? They look so good in any... Just one of the most beautiful plants in the game, to be honest. One of the best textures and designs, to be honest. And also the silver fern is one of those plants that I always sink down into the ground just to make it look like other types of ferns, when it is actually kind of resembles a palm tree in a way. I just haven't used it like that. Some good old lady fern. With which we shall cover this little section. And then I feel like one tree should be put here. And what tree? Like the White Palace. In case maybe, I don't know who is still following along. The White Palace, its trademark tree has become palms. And the Black Palace also have palms, but also ferns. But I want to put a tree here that sort of has this darker vibe. And with darker, I mean both the color and maybe the look, sort of maybe perhaps more rugged. So I think I'm just going to scroll through the selection of trees for a bit and see what fits here. It still needs to fit the Africa biome in a bit, so I'm not going to put a beech tree there or a spruce. The nut tree is way too big. I mean, not necessarily now that I'm looking at it, but of course doesn't really fit the biome here. This is a vibe though, that giant bristlecone pine tree from the Twilight Pack. How does that make us feel? It's a bit ill-fitting. We'll take it into account. Candelabra tree does have a vibe to it. The ash tree. I might just go for the cabbage tree here that I've been. The bloodwood tree. Kapok tree. The Korean pine tree is gorgeous but not fitting. The London plane tree. Nip, 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 nip. I want to build a zoo again where I can put oak trees everywhere because they're great. Olive tree. Ombu tree is South American. Sycamore maple. I think I'm just going to go for cabbage tree spam. There really is a lot of noise going on outside. I know I said that before, but there is genuinely a lot of noise going on outside of my door. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to jump over to the bonobos for a little bit, so you can perhaps enjoy the view here. I'm going to check if there's generally not something weird going on outside. I'll see you in a bit. And I'm back. Apparently, yeah, at midnight on a Sunday night, some construction workers started placing some placards and signs across the street here. So perhaps they want to start bright and early next morning, but still, I was a bit surprised. Oh, guys, I just love this bonobo island I made. I'm so proud of this one. I just love to look at it. The vibe of these animals walking through the tall grass and everything, and obviously they don't climb as much as you would hope, but then again, if you've ever been to a zoo and seen primates, they generally don't really climb that often. They kind of behave like humans do. They spend a lot of time just chilling, and often indoors. Right, the Antwerp Zoo has a fantastic chimpanzee facility, for a city zoo of its size and budget. And I love the way this guy always chills here, and they just spend their whole time indoors. Like, thanks for spending all this money on this on this outdoor chimpanzee facility. We're just gonna chill indoors in our old-fashioned indoor yeah, I kind of think that that the Antwerp Zoo, which I've been visiting since, you know, being a baby pretty much, might have some financial issues. They demolished a part of the zoo back in 2019. It was a section of the zoo that, let me paint you a picture. The Antwerp Zoo is very, very old. It is a 19th century city zoo. And with that, of course, automatically comes a collection of very old habitats. And even then, the habitats that were deemed at the time of them being built as modern and new, they became, old-fashioned and aged. And it was a section of the zoo that had something called the Jubilee Complex, and it was like a whole row of predator habitats for the cougar and the lion and everything, and the tiger and the polar bear and the brown bear. As you can tell, it was modern, but still was too many animals for its scale. And then on top of that, there was an elevated terrain behind it, and that's where a whole bunch of vultures lived, and they even had a condor at some point in a way too small aviary, and then they had sea lions, and at one point dolphins, a whole part of the zoo. All of that was decommissioned and demolished. I'm even forgetting about the nocturnal house that was there. All of that was demolished in 2019, and then they promised to build a snow leopard habitat there, a Siberian tiger, and I believe spectacled bear habitat, and something new for the sea lions. And I'm telling you, ever since 2019, when they demolished it, or at least started, sectioning it off, they haven't built a single brick 6 years later. I've heard in the news that the budget actually is like 30 million euros more than it was projected. And just in general, it's kind of making me a bit sad, because I was very excited for the plans when they were revealed, but knowing now that, I don't know if they might have to downscale on the plans, sort of be a bit less ambitious with them. I don't know, but it's just been a good chunk of the zoo. I think what would I say, 20% of the surface area of the zoo you cannot visit at the moment, because it's just like rubble. And with the enthusiasm with which they announced those plans, and I welcome it, because the Antwerp Zoo is old and definitely shows its age in several sections, and it sounded like a very modern, interesting habitat, but they haven't started building it at all. And I think the COVID pandemic had something to do with that, but beyond that, behind the scenes there must be frustration and panic that they don't necessarily communicate to the public, but you just have to sense that. If it's 6 years later and you still haven't started building the future of your zoo. And also, as a guest, I have to say, Antwerp Zoo is very expensive at the moment, but it's just not worth it, because there's so much building going on, or not. There's no building going on, but Belgium has, I believe, 4 zoos that you can definitely call zoos, and I'm going to say that the Antwerp Zoo at this point is the 3rd best zoo in Belgium. Alright, let's add some sort of trim here to differentiate these surfaces from each other. Again, not going to spend an amazing amount of time on this, because you don't even see it in explore mode. And cutting corners has sort of become the creed of Bolo Bolo. Like, we must safeguard the frame rate at all costs at this late stage of the zoo, says Yelbu, who is still planning a massive elephant enclosure, 2 more ape habitats, and is brainstorming a crazy lion habitat that will probably turn out much less ambitious than than my plan. I think I need to downscale my plans for the lion. The plateau that I've placed them on is so big that there is no conceivable way for guests to view the lions in a satisfying fashion. So I think I need to, you know, be realistic about it. The devil on my shoulders at this point is just saying, no! Make it big, make it crazy. And I appreciate him for that. Thank you, devil. I will say, every time I play these Michael Jackson chill covers, I do get copyright strikes. Alright, Lisa, your last 3 messages. I only just read them now. My local zoo in Belfast is pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty much the same as when I was a kid. Yeah. Since you live in, you know, sort of that region of the world, have you visited many other zoos in the British Isles, so to speak? Because I'm going to Edinburgh next year, and I've seen that they have a zoo, but just looking at it from Google Maps, it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look exceedingly impressive. Because I tried to visit zoos in cities I visit, but it didn't really catch my fancies, if you catch my drift. Perhaps it might surprise me after all. So how would you rate, I'm sorry for bombarding you with these questions. How would you rate the Belfast Zoo then? Since you say it hasn't changed that much. Is it sort of like maybe in a bad shape, or is it just fine? Chester Zoo. Yeah, I've seen that mentioned very often. Looks like a great zoo from what I've seen. Also seen plenty of creators do recreations of it, so I'm familiar with it. Yeah, and I seem to recall asking Blob when he was here last time around what his thoughts were on the London Zoo, and he says it's overrated. And I would say I have to agree. It's a very strange zoo, sort of two-faced. It has very cool, very modern habitats, and then it also has these very old, almost sort of, what's the word, kind of decrepit looking habitats that you think, oh man, this is not looking good. Edinburgh is a good zoo. That's good to hear. I might go there anyway, but I'm only going for, I think, it's looking like only 3 days. So I think the city center, when I checked it out in Street View, already looked so cool. I might not want to spend half a day or more at the zoo. Dublin Zoo also good. Yeah, I need to head out to the. I've been to London, like, you know, like every European. You've been to London, right? But I've sort of had it with London at this point. I wanna go to the north of England. I wanna go to Scotland, and definitely check out Ireland, the island of Ireland, just to be precise. Doesn't really matter which side of the border I'm at. Edinburgh used to have pandas. All right, I'm very glad to have seen pandas here in Belgium. We have pandas here in our zoo. Edinburgh is an amazing city. That sounds amazing. I've checked it out, and just knowing how much I love just strolling around like historical districts, I think it's going to be right up my alley. If there's anything I love, it's like buildings that look important. Like, this looks like an important building. I wonder what it is. And I'm already satisfied. The reason I'm going there, by the way, I might accidentally access a different part of my viewers here, is I'm going to watch Critical Role perform Dungeons and Dragons live. They're going to play Dungeons and Dragons for in Edinburgh Castle, not in, but like facing it on the same hill, rock, mount that it is built on. I will love Edinburgh. That is good to hear. I really look forward to it. And the crazy thing is, when I will see Critical Role perform D&D, play D&D in Edinburgh, and also in the same week I'm going to go to Berlin and also see them play D&D there. It's a bit of a, it will be in all likelihood our first trip ever without our two kids. We did go on a very short trip without Sam when she was like just turned 2. But this would be our first trip without either of them. So we're going to Berlin, and then in the same week we're hitting up we're hitting up Edinburgh. It's a bit crazy. Perhaps we're a bit impulsive when buying those tickets, but both cities are, of course, very cool. Alright, posture check for myself, but also, guys, maybe a hydration check. Are you drinking enough? I know I'm not, that's why I'm telling you, maybe grab some water to drink from the kitchen. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to grab myself some water to hydrate. Yes, dedication for sure. It's a bit crazy, and also the tickets were, in hindsight, very expensive, and it's kind of very overpriced, but hey, we are allowed to. Everyone is allowed in their life to have that one special interest that they spend a lot of money on, and ours is Dungeons and Dragons. Anyway, let me go grab that water I was talking about. there we go. I got myself a cool glass of fizzy water. Anyway, we are actually nearing the end of this, and I don't know if I'm going to dedicate much more time to the back here of the palace. The side, though, is still blank and ugly, but the back doesn't really need much more than this. So after I'm done adding this trim, we're going to call it quits on the back here and just focus on the side of the palace for a bit. There we go. Then remove this. Alright, now the side deserves a bit more care. Exactly, you only live once. Remember when that was a worldwide meme? You only live once and everyone was saying YOLO? I remember. But you're absolutely right. If you have the money for it, if you're not harming anyone, do what you want. I'm just open-minded and free-spirited like that. As a teacher, sometimes I've been noticing lately that the youth is that Gen Z and Gen Alpha is sort of turning more conservative again, which is, it's fair. They can do what they want, but I do often find myself having to combat very negative opinions towards the lives of others, the habits and interests. And they're often kind of shocked at me when I reveal just how open-minded I am and how little I care about outward appearance and reputation and stuff like that. And I just try to show them that you can also be an adult and not put down other people's interests. Shall we put in the middle here? We need something silver or Indonesian trim. Yes, that's the one I wanted. Just like this. Yes. ZSH did do Chester Zoo tour. Did I watch it? I know I watched his Singapore tours, and I was absolutely gobsmacked by the beauty of the Singapore Zoo, and also the river one and the night one. I might need to check out the Chester Zoo one again, because it's not ringing enough bells in my mind. But yeah, good on reminding me there. I will absolutely check it out once more. Alright, this is a bit of a weird design, but we're going with it anyway. Yeah, it's definitely an odd little design here I went for here, but I never said that these palaces resembled any kind of real-world architecture, and I will continue to disavow myself of that opinion. Anyway, yeah, we also need to cover that up. I have just the thing. More Indonesian trim. Hey, it doesn't look... That's weird. It only flickers when you're... Let's add some tile, actually. This is a bit of a visual glitch. Why is it this? Okay, let's try and deal with this. You, little wall, need to go backwards just a bit. Okay, there we go. Let's grab us some plaster trim from up here. And make sure the trim sort of surrounds this area. Once again, this is something I've said to my girlfriend. She really loves these palaces, and so do I. But she says, like, you need to do a speed build because I wanna see, no, people wanna see how you build this. But these builds aren't difficult. They are actually just rectangular boxes. They are rectangular boxes with just a lot of like props and stuff added on top of them. But they're not complicated to build. They just, you know, take a lot of time to do so. But also, you know, that's doesn't really speak in my defense why it took me so long to actually start rebuilding them. But what can I say? I am affected by I'm strongly affected by things going wrong in my life. Let's put it like that. And I'm also a very bad procrastinator. Like a very bad procrastinator. Like all your buildings, I hate buildings. Yeah, I still hate buildings. Having built this twice, I still hate buildings. I love habitats, but I hate buildings. And it is really what sets apart, you know, mere mortals like me from the big crazy builders, even those that don't necessarily spend their time on YouTube. It's the buildings they do. It's their knowledge of architecture, their dedication to detail. Like, you know, truth. The truth is that I also have plenty of other video games that I like to play, so it's also just not wanting to spend too much time playing Planet Zoo. and also sometimes enjoying a different video game. That's also an aspect of it. Like, if Planet Zoo was the only video game I played, I would be, you know, considerably better at this. I'm not saying I'm bad, but that's just the truth. Also, one of the reasons I never wanted to start a YouTube channel is because I was like, it's too late. Like, the game is pretty much over already, and I still think that I should have started sooner. Not only because, you know, I enjoy showcasing what I'm doing in the game, but also I think I would have learned more earlier, if that makes sense. I would have learned skills earlier by meeting people. And who knows, I might have had a channel at this point with a, you know, large base of subscribers. Who's to say? I'm not going to say like subscribers has been my main goal. But nonetheless, it is nice to know that people are watching what you're doing. Like that they spend time in their day checking out something you did. And speaking of ZSH Place, I did a tour of his Belmont Zoo. And he watched it. And I'm fairly sure that he watched the whole thing all the way through. And that's just really cool. You know. What does this need now? Just gonna grab some more random decorations. I see my distaste for buildings is shared. Because you can barely call these palaces buildings, because they are not functional, they have no interior, they have no rhyme or reason to their design. There's no function to their form. No, that's not good. That's ugly. All right. This is what we need. This is I'm going to put the finishing touch here. Turn it around. Yes, there we go. That's good enough, right? Doesn't need to be much better than that. Just gonna stand there and zoom in at it. I wanna hide this. This flickering thing needs to be gone. Why don't I just... I might just take one of those columns here. sort of put it into the wall here to hide that flickering. Alright. Okay, I'm seeing another little error. That's why we go to explore mode to see things in a different perspective. Yeah, he's a great guy. Just from what I've heard and seen, I just love the, you know, I've been, as they say, glazing him a bit too often the last few days, but just the way he puts his videos together, he explains everything so well, puts a lot of time into editing, and really, really, you know, wants you to learn from his videos. So yeah, huge fan. I've probably the first Planned Zoo video on YouTube I ever watched, I think, is the first episode of the Tecton Zoo. Alright, this looks nice. Still not too sure what the thumbnail for this video should be, because I have so many options, and the thing is, with my channel being what it is at the moment, it's kind of suffering from the lessened activity from like April, May, June. If the thumbnail isn't good, then the video will suffer for it, and that's a shame, because I want people to see this. But if if the title and the thumbnail isn't good, you know, your video can be great, but it's just like that first hook that you need to, you know, to grab people with. Oh, I see something I still need to do. I need to put a door in here. That's true. So we're just gonna grab this African door. And spam it. Create a big door out of the smaller door and then just color it black. I see an African door and I want to paint it black. Was that an insensitive joke? I don't know. I hope the Rolling Stones meaning was caught behind it. You enjoying my videos? Thank you so much. That makes me very happy to hear. Oops, little mistake here. Because, you know, lately the videos I feel like I've been making some fun videos, but the views aren't what they were. And it's annoying playing the YouTube game the whole time. It's just not fun, really, to have to keep thinking about, oh, how will I engage the viewers and what kind of a hook do I need and thumbnail. It's not fun, right? It's I always said that I would stop doing YouTube if it wasn't fun, and making videos is fun, but building something, creating something, editing something, and then having YouTube be like, I want to show this video you made to 700 people in the entire world. 11 of them will click it because your thumbnail isn't the greatest ever. It's kind of annoying, but I know in my heart of hearts that what I did here is cool, because yeah, I like it. Look at this wonderful view. Very happy with this. Almost makes me wish I could allow guests back into this zoo. I could let in like 500 of them, so they could do the safari trek here. What remains? I'm just doing like little odd jobs around the palace. I guess this side needs some more stuff. Is there a thing I'm forgetting? I should have had like a checklist. What am I? Maybe it's not that important if I can't think of it. It's too late in the day for me to be having a moment like this. Alright, let's just grab one of this again. I need you, little column. And I need you here. And I also need you here. Great, now let's grab some more trim. Good old Indonesian trim has helped me survive these trying times in rebuilding such a wonderful piece. You're only one person, but you love the videos. Thank you so much. You've also been a very, very frequent guest here in the streams, and I really appreciate that. I know when I'm streaming, I'm talking like I'm saying like you guys, and everything. Even when there's no one watching, I just pretend like I have an audience. But I really am thankful and grateful that you continue to check these streams. I really am. You wall, I need these little plaster decals. Alright, let's group these up. Do I have all of them? I do not have all of them at all. It's very hard to see whether you have clicked these or not. Okay, let me click this. Do I have them now? Group them up. Finally. There we go. That's actually very effective way to decorate this wall. Yeah, I like it. That's unexpectedly cute. Should I drag it out much further? I'm just gonna save the game again. It's like my body and my mind subconsciously tell me after 1.5 hours of streaming. that I'm done, but you know, I think I've sort of accomplished the goals that I set out to do today. Unless there's that one thing nagging at the back of my mind. There's one thing I still need to do for the palaces, but what is it? What is that thing? I did the back, I did the front. Interior is not gonna happen. I'm not sure. It was earlier in the day. I might actually now turn to the Bonobo Island again, but or well, it's going to be the Chimpanzee Island. That's next. This is such a... So happy with this. But, dear viewer/viewers, we have truly come to a momentous occasion. A monumental even. After, I would say, 4 months of procrastination, psychological torment, a lot of sad scrolling through footage and whining to people on Discord and in real life, I have finally reached the point in Bolo Bolo and the Grand Safari that I had reached somewhere in March before removing part of this zoo. I am thankful that I finally conquered my demons and did it. And the Grand Safari, I think my favorite project in this entire zoo, is now truly finished. And that makes me really happy. This is the best Africa-themed, Africa animal exhibit I've done ever in Planet Zoo. You know, even though it doesn't feature many of the big names, it also takes up a large part of the zoo. Looking back at it, that is like 25% of Bolo Bolo at this point is the Grand Safari. But to cap it all off with these crazy little buildings there at the back, which are visible from from many places in the zoo, I'm really pleased with this. And they are, at this point, the thing to look out for when you visit this zoo. I'm sure of it. But yeah, I've done it. I have rebuilt the Grand Safari. Round of applause for myself. A round of applause for anyone who has watched either in streams or the videos. And yeah, very soon Bolo Bolo is going to return. How can my computer handle all that? Welcome, Lucas. Well, this is how. It's running at 16 frames per second when I... Well, 22 frames per second when I zoom out. The secret is, I have a very good PC. It's a considerable amount of money went into it, but also almost... There's no guests in this zoo. Not a single guest, and I have removed every animal in let me make it visual for you. There's no animals here, just no animal at all, and there's no animals here. The only animals currently in the zoo are all residing here. So I have removed guests and animals from the equation, and that is the only way in which this zoo has become, has remained running. Another secret pretty much is from the beginning of the zoo, I knew that what would drag this zoo down is like unnecessary pieces, meaning that I didn't build elaborate shelters and backstage for the animals. Like normally I would place like floors and just like places for them to sleep, and I did none of that this time around. So I did save a bit of computer power there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I put this zoo on the workshop in this shape or form, I will have to warn people I think I'm just going to put it on the workshop without animals, and then a version with animals, and then just see whichever one people want to try and load. So yeah, having said that, I just loaded up a map from ZSH Plays yesterday evening, and it ran at 11 frames per second. So that's an even crazier map. Check out the tour on my channel. A big old video for you to check out. But yeah, I've continued yapping beyond the fact, beyond the moment. The Grand Safari is done. The stream is done. And I couldn't be happier that I can finally press save. And the traumas of the past have been overridden. Now watch me save over Terra Encantada. That would be no problem actually, because that one is on the workshop fully. Right. Yeah, it would blow up your PC perhaps. It's a crazy zoo. You know, looking back at it, it's so chaotic, it's so unplanned. The sightlines are horrible. There's no route for you to follow. If you enter the zoo and you go here, you have to constantly make choices in this zoo. Like, do I go left or right? And if you go left or right, you just go to an entirely different section, and there's no clear walking path for you in this zoo. And if I do another zoo, and I will do another zoo, that is number one thing for me to plan, and that is that you can visit the zoo in one obvious walking route, because that is impossible in Bolo Bolo. You know, it's kind of embarrassing. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream there. Good night, Lisa. Good night, Lucas. Good night, Blob, Hunter, anyone else who watched and might still be watching. It's been great fun.